Leonie Dawson refuses to be categorized. The podcast. I'm so grateful you're here. Thank you so much for coming back and spending your precious, precious life hours with me. Today I'm going to be going through and doing my October 2021 Biz and Life review. If you go to leoniedawson.com/October 2021, you will find it there and all the accompanying pictures and links and stats and all of that shit. So this has become kind of our new tradition. I like to cover what life blessings and challenges I've had, what I've created in my business, how much revenue I generated, what tools I used in my business, and my goals for the next month as well. And you can read or hear all the monthly reviews as well on the podcast or over on my website. I've done from April. I started this in April and have rapidly fell in love with it. So to start off, let's review the goals that I originally set for October. So my work goals were to release the new workbooks. Tick, done, hello. You can find them at goalgetterbooks.com. I wanted to release a new workshop. I didn't get that done in October, but I did it at the start of November instead. So I'll count that as a win. Weekly zines to my mailing list got done. I wanted to batch create 6 business success series blog posts, some really great content for you. I only managed to do 3. That's okay. I'll catch up later. I wanted to finish another project, 10%, which was all of we like to take on projects to improve certain areas of my business. We didn't. We launched the workbooks instead, which was a massive amount of work. We wanted to test doing a tripwire product. I'll talk more about this. We've done that. I'll let you know the results in an upcoming episode. And I had a secretive project that I wanted to finish, and I did. And it was the Calm Christmas Planner, which is now available on Etsy. It's a printable planner to help you get completely organized for Christmas. And it's colorful and it's rainbow and it's so much fun. And I just feel so fucking thrilled with myself, really. Now, in terms of my life goals, I wanted to do another 21-day challenge of decluttering and organizing, which I did do. Fucking nailed it. I wanted to do weekly Pilates, doing that, loving it. I really wanted to do whatever I needed to do in order to get my creative juices flowing. I feel like I've done that. I feel like I'm in a good spot now. Hooray. I wanted to finish doing a food e-course that I was listening to. Didn't do that. Did some, but also kind of needed to go back to doing more Buddhist programs because they're the ones that most help my brain on a week by week basis, especially when I feel a little bit like in mummy crisis mode of just like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Buddhism really helps me with that. I wanted to go for 10 walks, did that, hooray. And I wanted to finish reading Die Empty by Todd Henry. Didn't. I only got 3 chapters in, but I'm really enjoying it. And sometimes I just really enjoy reading books over a period of a few months and feeling kind of immersed in it as a subject. Of course, I read a shit ton of other books as well, which I will talk about my very favorites later in the show. All in all, I'm pretty stoked with the progress that we made. So whatever else happened on the live front in October, for me, I really felt like I spent a lot of time in the parenting trenches working through some new issues that have bubbled to the surface with my kids. I mean, I feel like I've had a really lucky run with my kids. Since they've been out of the baby and toddler ages, they've been fairly easy to manage. Or maybe that's just my parenting sweet spot, we're all good at parenting different ages. For me, I have a tween who is running towards being 12, and I feel completely unprepared for being a mum of teens. I don't know how to do that. So that's kind of been tricky to work through, but I know we'll get through it, and my kids have got beautiful hearts. We will work it out. And I'm just really fucking glad to have my husband to parent with. Honestly, he's really good at parenting in ways that I'm not. And he also just makes an excellent venting partner when I just feel like I'm going to burst a fucking blood vessel. What else did I do? Oh, I did a Zoom career talk for the year 11 and 12 students at my old boarding school. And these are kids who mostly come from rural backgrounds. Like they're all off like large cattle properties and stuff in Western Queensland and stuff. That's where I went to, and I loved being a part of like this kind of cowboy culture. But for me, going into it, I really wanted to like nail the vibe of like eccentric creative aunt who encourages them all to just disobey their parents and follow their dreams sort of vibe. And I'm pretty sure I nailed that. I don't know if their parents are going to love them, but I don't care. I'm there for them. I also did a 21-day decluttering challenge. My house feels so much more organized, and I really feel quite chuffed with myself. And I also finished estate planning, and I feel so smug about that. I did a whole blog post about this, how I did the estate planning, what that looked like, what I included. You can find that blog post at leoniedawson.com/vagina estate. One word. Of course I called it vagina estate it's because that night after I finished doing it, I felt like I was coming down with a UTI, and so while I was writing the blog post, I was like, does this sore vagina mean that I'm going to die tonight just because I finished estate planning? Like, wouldn't that be so ironic? I mean, it'd be completely on brand for me for me to die from a sore vagina, like just vagina related issues, you know what I mean? But luckily I survived. I'm fine. The vagina didn't take me down yet. And the estate planning is done. Fuck yeah. I also did a lot of abstract painting just myself. That was really glorious. I would just get out. After I dropped the kids to school, we'd run errands, come back home, and before I'd start work, I would just lay out like 6 pieces of paper, just office paper on the table, and I would just start painting them with like nothing in mind, and it felt so lovely and so exciting. What else happened? Yes, okay, my big kid went to school camp for 3 days, and even though it's her 3rd year going and we know it's her favourite thing ever, it's still so strange when she's not in the house, and it also makes me wonder how on earth I'm ever going to adjust to being a parent of adult kids. I can see that coming for me, you know? Meanwhile, our little kid had her first go on happy gas at the dentist. It was brilliant and hilarious, especially when compared to the usual fucking car wreck of an experience that dentists can be for her, my sweet, sweet little 7-year-old. So happy gas just was great for all of us. It's a really good experience. And I ended up saying to the dentist afterwards, I'm just so glad that she got to have the happy gas experience, because honestly, having happy gas is one of my favourite childhood memories. She said, Leonie, I feel like that says quite a lot about your personality. It's true. It's very true. Okay, I also had the most rad weekly routine where I go to Pilates, I do a 15-minute private Pilates session, and then I go hang out at my favourite bookstore, cafe for an hour. I talk shit with the owners, I drink tea, I eat cake, I read books. It totally makes my heart happy, and it's one of my favourite times of the week. I also got my 2nd vaccine. It feels fucking terrific to be fully vaccinated. Now, I've said this a million times over, but I had swine flu a few years ago. It was fucking god awful. It went on for 6 months. It was awful, and I never want to experience something like that again. And especially like COVID has 10 times the deadliness of swine flu. Like, swine flu sucked enough. So I mean, super keen for a vaccine. Like, chuck all the needles at me. That'll be so great. Okay, what else? Oh my God, I was social twice. Oh my God, look at me go. I had dinner on the river with a friend, and then I had tea and cake with another friend. And like, for me, I am such a homebody that sometimes I forget that I need to be social. And then I get a bit sad. And then I'm like, why do I feel just like so, ugh. Oh, that's right, because I haven't like hung out with anyone at all for months. Months and months, like 6 months can go by and I will have completely forgotten that I should be like seeing friends. And that's also an ADHD thing. But yeah, really good times to have social times. Look at me go. I also really tried to like make a practice of keeping my eyes open for beauty because I read about how we are ore deficient at the moment, not like ORE, but like AWE. And so I've really tried to be like finding and cultivating more moments of awe. And so I have this app on my phone called NomoCam, NOMO Cam, and then you can like load an Instax looking camera on there, and I just love it. It takes like Instax looking photos, and it just makes me so happy. And I try and take photos of just the ordinary beauty that I wouldn't necessarily spend too much attention on otherwise. In this month's ridiculous entry, I bruised my heel while stomping around the house like a monster playing with my kids. Of course I did. And it took 3 weeks for it to recover. It's still not perfect. But of course I did. Oh my God, me and my body. It's just like it just continues. It continues to surprise, amuse, and delight. We also celebrated Halloween with a treasure hunt at home. It was hilarious fun. Here in Australia, Halloween isn't like historically has not been a big thing for us whatsoever. It's not as imbued in the culture as it is in the US. It is definitely starting to come and emerge into our culture, but it's not something that everyone does. So we had a Halloween treasure hunt at home. I made it into kind of like a Taskmaster style event where they also had to work out clues and complete tasks to proceed to the next clue that had chocolates attached. And the final prize was the Halloween themed Beanie Boos. And me and Chris had to spend like an embarrassing amount of time trying to track these fucking things down because supply chain issues. I don't know what it is about Beanie Boos though. They are like crack cocaine for the children. So one got a bat because a Halloween bat Beanie Boo, and the other one got like a little ghost Beanie Boo. And this is like my nearly 12-year-old went to sleep last night with this little ghost Beanie Boo under her chin, like cuddling it like it's the cutest little pony in the world. It was so fucking funny. So it was worth it for us to spend so much time looking for them. Right, favourite books that I read in October. Some great romance ones. My two favourite were The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary and The Heart Principle by Helen Huang. I love both of them. I've read all of their books and just so appreciate their books. And so every time they announce they've got a new book out, I just pre-order it because it's fucking great. I also read Decluttering at the Speed of Life by Dana K. White, which is kind of part of my decluttering challenge. That was really good as well. In order to kind of really boost that like creative muscle in me, I did a reread of Keep Going by Austin Kleon because it's awesome. And I re-listened to the audiobook of Big Magic by Liz Gilbert. It's one of my favorites. It's brilliant. And the audiobook is just extra scrumptious. I also really loved two graphic memoirs, Becoming RBG by Debbie Levi, which is kind of like a graphic biography of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, hooray. And I also read Quarantine Comics by Rachel Smith, which is kind of comic strips of her going into quarantine in England, and that was really enjoyable as well. I did read more books than that, but those are the ones that I gave 5 stars to. My favourite TV in October, hands down, I love Alone. Like, it's a reality TV show about people trying to survive in the wilderness, and that does not sound like it would be up my alley, right? But it is. It so is. It touches me so deeply, and I know I've talked about it before because I fucking love Alone that much. But I'm so excited for season 8, and it's like a meditation. It really is. It's like a nature meditation, and it's also like this connection to what our ancestors have had to do in order to survive, and just the absolute ingenuity of the human spirit is phenomenal. And I also really love Taskmaster. It's a UK game show with Greg Davies and Alan Horn. It is our family's favourite, bar none. It is very, very funny. It's comedians competing in a series of very stupid tasks, and I really love it. Now, in terms of what I created in my business in October was all about books for me. So first up, for something completely different, I thought I'd try something new. I created an illustrated calm Christmas printable planner to sell on Etsy. It was a bunch of fun to make. I used Procreate on my iPad with my Apple Pen to create it. And if you want to see all the tools that I use in my business, you can go to leoniedawson.com/tools to find them all. So I created the Calm Christmas printable planner for a few reasons. One, I was bored. I needed some novelty. Two, I am not a naturally organized person whatsoever, but I have managed to get so much more organized in recent years. And getting organized for Christmas has really just been a fun project for me. And thirdly, I thought I'd see if I enjoyed selling on the Etsy marketplace again and if it would expose me to a new audience. So it's like a creative experiment plus a self-organization experiment plus a business experiment all in one. And I knew it likely wouldn't become like a major income producer for me. That's fine. I still just need to give myself room to experiment and try new things, because doing the same thing again and again is really just kryptonite to my spirit. So we also released the new Goal Getter workbooks and planner range. You can find them at goalgetterbooks.com. And there are 4 books in total for that range. So there is the Goal Getter Yearly Life book, which helps you set all of your goals for your life for the next year. The Goal Getter Yearly Business Workbook, which helps you set your business goals for the next year. The Goal Getter Daily To-Do List Planner, and the Goal Getter Undated Weekly Planner as well. So I've been creating those workbooks for 13 years now, and they've been used by over 450,000 people, which is incredible and just it's mind-blowing. And this year I decided to make them undated so that they can be used again and again. So you can read all about that decision over on my blog. If you go to leoniedawson.com/yearly goal getter, I talk about all the reasons I decided to go that route. But really, it's such a plus for you, because you can start using them whenever you like. And also, if you buy the digital planners, you can reuse them again and again and again each year. So that's a bit of fun. And for something free, I released something odd and weird, and I didn't really talk too much about it. If you go to leoniedawson.com/dunno, you'll find it, DUNNO. And it's like this kind of illustrated comic ebook thing, whatever. I don't want to talk about it, but the emails I've gotten back about it have just been lovely, and it makes me want to make more weird free shit like that. And last of the big things that I did in my business this month is I discovered that my accountants had missed our investment property in our annual tax returns for 2 years. So it was kind of a massive project for me to collect all of the expense accounts for that property. And I'm fairly sure it will result in like a 5-figure tax return for us, because it's a fuck ton of expenses. And nothing will show up in October's income for this, of course, but I'm really glad that I've discovered it. Now, in terms of the software I use to run for my business, if you go to leoniedawson.com/tools, you'll find them all there and the links to all of them. I use Kajabi for most things in my business, like selling through their shopping cart, teaching my courses through their learning management system, running my affiliate program. I use ActiveCampaign to send all our marketing emails. I use Opt-in Monster to create all pop-ups, reminder windows, lead magnet forms on my website. I use Calendly to screen interviewers and book into interviews. I use Xero for accounting and financial management. And I also host my WordPress websites on WP Engine. So leoniedawson.com/tools if you want to see all the rest of the software and tools I use as well. So the moment you've all been waiting for, how much we earned this month. So total income for this month was $46,700, and I'll do a breakdown of where that came from in a second. So in terms of volume, that's a small amount for a usual launch period for me. a launch period for me is usually over 100 grand. However, it is normal for a book launch period. So I had 2 book launches this month, which are always fun. They do, however, tend to result in a lower income than e-courses. Still, it's more in a month than I used to make in a year, so it's nothing to sneeze at. And what I'm noticing as well through the income streams is that I am really starting to enjoy having a diversified income coming in from lots of different buckets. So I'm starting to consider more what retirement will look like. And I dare say I'm always going to be doing something creative in the world. It's more about just shifting my focus from active wealth creation to just doing whatever the fuck I want whenever I want, because we've got investments and passive income and royalties covering our expenses. So in terms of income streams for October, we had $16,000 in e-courses sold. We have a passive income business that we don't do anything with that brought in $11,000. Our shares and managed funds grew by over $10,000. New workbooks have brought in $8,000 so far. I'm a Kajabi affiliate, so I got about $1,000 from that. And my Calm Christmas planner on Etsy sold about $700 in a month. Now, in terms of my workbooks, I thought I'd break down that number even further for you. So I've sold $6,500 in digital workbooks. Currently, I've got about $1,400 of royalties for paperback workbooks, and that's going to be payable in about 3 months or so. And my Amazon affiliate income's only about $100, which is also payable in 3 months or so. Now, interestingly, with the Amazon affiliate income, that used to be much, much higher for selling my own books. It used to be almost the same amount as the royalties. But Amazon, because poor little Jeffrey Bezos, born in 1964, Jeffrey Bezos. He needed more cash so he can build more penis spaceships to the sky. Look, this is on me for using Amazon as a self-publishing, but it's still fucking better than the other options I've explored in my publishing journey. So that's where we're at with that. Okay, I thought I'd break down as well what of my e-courses sold, like which ones are the most popular. My marketing without social media course brought in $7,000. 40 days to create and sell your e-course sold $4,400. Sales Star brought in $1,200. 40 days to a finished book brought in $1,200. Money Manifesting and Multiple Streams of Income brought in $1,200. And my mini workshop, Behind the Scenes of a Multimillionaire's Finances, which is only $7, brought in $1,100. So interestingly, like, I didn't market any of those courses in October, so it's great that they're still bringing in cash anyway. And in terms of why marketing without social media was our number one seller in October, I got no fucking clue. It wasn't because we had a big affiliate push or anything like that. It's just the course that seems to get more and more popular. It feels like so many people are yearning to do businesses differently, especially with like more and more research coming out every single month showing how harmful social media can be. The e-course, I love calling it that, was the second most popular because I ran a live round in September, the month before. So part of that cash would be late enrollments, and it would also be because monthly payment plans for that go over 3 months. And I was completely fascinated to see that the Sales Star book course and money course all earned the exact same amount, and that a $7 product was selling nearly as much as them. The $7 product is still relatively new, however, so I'd expect for sales to drop over time on that one, but maybe not. We'll see. I'm also just going to test using that one as a Tripwire product as well. So I'll let you know more about that once we've done more testing and researched it and gotten results and all that kind of stuff. Now, shares and managed growth, my ethical managed funds through Australian Ethical rebounded to their previous height after a slower month in September. And I was also talking to a friend, and she was like, thank you so much, by the way, for telling me when you invested in Australian Ethical shares as well as the managed funds, because since then they've grown by over 2.5 times. So if you put in $100, you get $250 back. For me, at the time, I had shares in the Commonwealth Bank, Telstra and Woolworths, but I sold them all after the Australian bushfires January last year, and I was determined to only invest in ethical and climate crisis worthy shares. And I've kind of ignored them since I bought them. And when I logged in to check them out after our conversation, discovered that my $24,000 worth of shares are now valued at $60,000. So about 10 grand of that growth has happened in the last month. So I'm counting that as income as well. Now, if you want to know more about exactly how I grow and create my income streams, my course, Money, Manifesting and Multiple Streams of Income, is the resource for you. Go to leoniedawson.com/money. So, goals for November. They're pretty simple, truth be told. Usually I have much longer lists, but I'm not feeling it this month. So on the life part, I want to have a fucking rad birthday. I turn 39 at the end of this week. Hooray! I want to celebrate the fuck out of my husband's birthday. I want to go for 10 walks because I just love it. And I want to, we're in the last 4 weeks of the school year. Everyone's starting to get pretty tired and fucking ragged. So I want to keep the kids chilled out and full of love as we finish up the school year. In terms of my business, I want to continue launching my new program, Work Less, Earn More, which begins November 19th. Make sure you go to leoniedawson.com/more to find out all about that, because it is looking to be an absolutely stellar fucking program and such important topics. If you are somebody who's like, no, Leonie, I really just want to keep working harder and harder and earning not that much, don't bother taking that course. But if you do want to work less and earn more, then that is the course for you. I also want to make sure that I batch content to be used over December and January and have a really great bonza income month, and then prepare for taking time off in December and January. Usually I don't really take time off, but I took a month off last year and I really enjoyed it, especially while my kids are on school break. And we're going away a few times this time, so I want to actually just have this spaciousness to not do anything if I don't want to do anything, and just prep content for it instead. And I really want to make sure that I get into a good rhythm with Project 10% again. Anyway, those are my goals. That is the full rundown. It's been a little bit long, but I am nothing but too much information. That's my real gift in life. Thank you so much for sharing the journey with me as always, and make sure you do check out Work Less and Earn More, which starts November 19. Go to leoniedawson.com/more. Yay!